So I'm going to ask you the first mystery question.
Okay. Lay it on me.
How did you prepare for your role?
How did I prepare for my role? Well, character-wise, I studied people like Liz Truss, who, no matter what they do, they're just not likeable. There's just something about them that people hate. My character Helena is awkward and doesn't know what to say, a bit like me, so that wasn't hard. She's gawky and it's always in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so I watched people like Chris and learnt from him, basically. What was your first reaction when you first read the script?
Which character's my character? And then do I like it or not? So I only read a script if I know I'm going to like my part in it. I liked it. It's ambitious. It was different for a horror. It was more like a play with a nice sort of good horror conceit. It's like something we've seen before, but not. I think my first reaction was probably just that it was timely because of the politics of it. So your villains are kind of already like, they're baked in. I thought it was fun, and I liked the idea of playing this kind of unlikable character. I'm used to playing unlikable characters, but it was something that was a bit more weaselly and pathetic, which I very much related to.
Yeah, a bit more you.
A bit more me.
Yes, I can
right.
see that.
Okay. How do you get into the mindset for a horror film compared to other genres?
That's a tricky one.
It is.
Get into the mindset. You know, strangely, I don't think I do get into a different mindset because my character doesn't know that there's going to be something terrible around the corner until she's further in. So I'm kind of taking each moment as it comes, being the consummate professional that I am. It's like the first time she's ever thought these thoughts, first time she's ever said these words.
Yeah, that's true though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I didn't. Helena doesn't know she's in a horror film. You know, this is just her life.
Yeah.
And so I mean, obviously, preparing for an emotional scene, you have to get yourself into that mind set, and also, you know, if you've got to cry or whatever, you know, you do the old, my dog is dead, which is a huge shock to me because I don't have a dog. But I think that actually is. I think I've hit on something there that my character doesn't know that she's in a horror film.
Yeah, good.
She's
answer.
just living at a moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I wasn't cutting you off there.
No. I'm quite pleased with that one. Can you describe your character?
No, I can't. I think
I'm talking about the character you play. Not
the character I play.
Not
okay.
you. Yeah. I'm going to take these.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
Well, he's a weasel. He's a sort of like an amoral lackey. Like his sole purpose in life is his ambition, which is to be powerful and wealthy in whichever order, I suppose, or wealth brings power. So I think his quest is to be at the top of his game, and to follow around someone like Pierce is just the price you pay to, you know, usurping that person eventually at anyone's cost, but unfortunately maybe his own. But yeah, so I think that's really all there is to him. Basically, he is your bog standard arsehole. Middle management, you know, we all know him and hate him. But there's nothing really evil or mean spirited about him. It's just a nothing. He's a blank. He is self-involved, probably from the moment he gets up in the morning to when he goes to bed. So that's how I would describe him. Next question. Oh yes, okay. This is a nice question. This is a fun question. Are you a fan of horror films? If so, do you have any favourites?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Again, all of these are tricky ones. Am I a fan? I am in theory, but I'm also a huge wimp. And I don't mind sort of slasher films too much, although I don't like blood. So actually, no, I don't like slasher films. I also don't like anything supernatural. because although I can watch it, those things come back to me in my head when I'm on my own, and I get very scared later on. When I'm lying in bed, or if going upstairs to bed, thinking something's going to grab my ankles, etc. So yes, I'm very easily scared. I get the willies really easily.
Are you a fan of willies?
Yes. Now that's
if so,
yes.
which ones? But yeah, no, there is a difference, isn't there, with horror? Because you can like what you think. Because what is horror? Because they used to be called some films chillers, because some people might like a thriller. And what's the distinction? Psycho is my favourite horror.
Oh
movie,
yes,
but is it a horror or?
Yeah,
a
that's right. That's funny because that wouldn't have immediately jumped to mind. I remember one film that probably isn't that scary now, but my mum and my big sister, who's a lot older than me, they went to see The Exorcist when it came out, and my mum always made me promise not to ever watch that film.
Yeah.
And I still haven't, even though I've seen clips and I'm a little bit tempted to watch it. But, I just think, well, Mum told me not to.
I would say definitely watch it, but I would also say it's one of the few films that really does, even on repeated viewing, I think it's really effective. It is scary.
I don't think I'll.
It gets silly though, so you won't keep you up at night.
You're talking of scary. I've just looked at myself in the camera. I'm so hot, sweaty. What aspects did you find most interesting or relatable in your character?
He's overweight. It wasn't the interesting part. Interesting. In life, he's not the sort of person I find interesting at all, but he's kind of fun to play. Although all the people kind of in the baddies or whatever, they're all all have a similar ambition. I think his is so much more base and simple and uncomplicated. He's quite fun. He's kind of pathetic and not that certainly not bothered about his appearance in a literal sense. So it's quite fun to play him amongst those other characters. But I think that's kind of the most interesting part of it. Relatable, nothing. I hope nothing at all. What is it like acting opposite your real life husband, hunk Tom Butcher, as Pierce Stonesmith? That's Jim's words, not mine.
Really?
No,
okay.
I can't say
The good thing about Tom and I, we've worked together a lot. We actually met on a job on Doctors. We played opposite each other and lovers in that as well. So our relationship started that way. So it's actually it's not difficult. There's a lovely sense of familiarity and comfort there. And also, it's great to be able to run lines and scenes when we're at home and talk about it. That helps enormously to be able to have somebody, as a sounding board, but also to, kick around ideas. So actually, it is a lovely thing to do. I don't suppose everybody has that experience when they're working with their partner, but for Tom and I, touch wood, it seems to work.
No, it's nice.
He's tricky though. He is tricky. But he is a hunk.
He's a hunk.
How did you know when to lean into the comedy of your character and when not to?
Well, I think well, they always say like with comedy you should just play it straight. Then it's the circumstance that's funny. Now that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not sure if that's what I do, but with him, I think to me he's just inherently funny. So I actually don't. Bar maybe one or two moments, I don't think I'd consciously ever thought of a particular moment being funny, but I definitely have that kind of, because he is pathetic and because he's just a lousy person. I think that's just any situation he's in, that's just inherently funny to me. Whether it's funny to anyone else, I don't know, but I definitely saw there was a comedic side to him. But I think even if I'd gone the opposite way, I think he would have just been sort of amusing. But maybe not so far.
He was amusing, and you did it, beautifully, very subtly, and it was just a very gentle, comic coating you gave him.
Oh, thank you.
Because I think it was really well done, because it would have been so easy to go over the top and make him a caricature, but he's really quite
Normally
believable.
what I would do, yeah.
Yeah. But you managed to hold yourself back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It was all
my
just,
thought.
yes, I just had to hold myself back. And also just being directed to stop.
And
Stop it, correct.
just do less.
Describe your character.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go refer to my my Liz Truss.
Oh, yeah.
Liz Truss with a soul. She just Helena is just so in love with a hunk of a husband, played by Tom Butcher. She's so in love with Piers that she will do anything, and she's totally aware of her shortcomings and the fact that people don't warm to her, that she's awkward and a bit, just doesn't really know how to dress, doesn't know how to walk, she hasn't got a lot going for her, bless her. I mean, and the fact that she's landed, this gem, it just means everything to her. And Piers and Piers's happiness is paramount in her head. And is the most important thing in the world. I mean, he's a kind of Boris Johnson, Trumpian kind of character. And, you think, what has any woman, apart from the money, ever seen in either of those? But, they do get women. And I think probably Piers, he has a charm to him, though. I mean, there is something. And they've been together a long time. And I think maybe he wasn't quite the nasty piece of work that he turned into when they started, but she probably hasn't seen that. She's just got these rose-tinted spectacles on and just adores him. So yeah, she's a bit pathetic, and she's a love-struck puppy.
Yeah. Do you think when we meet her in the story that she was probably a different person before that? Do you think because there's a sort of deer in headlights element?
Yes, yeah. Well, I suppose they're getting towards the top. They're getting towards the goal, which is obviously to be Prime Minister and First Lady. I don't think that's her dream.
Yeah.
But she's happy to go along with him.
Yeah.
But I think the more high profile they've become as a couple, the more her failings have become clear and evident, and the more he sees that as a huge problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
So
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's all there on the screen.
If your character had a catchphrase, what would it be?
Oh, he's such a life's too short guy. Oh, life's too short. That'll be it. He won't have an original catchphrase. It'll be life's too short, or at the end of the day. At the end of the day, life's too short. That's his catchphrase.
24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. I think that's definitely him.
Can you tell me about one of your favourite memories from the shoot?
The whole thing was great fun, and I'm not just saying that. I love working with Jim and with you, Chris. We've worked together before, and obviously Tom. But everybody on it, cast and crew alike, were great. Really lovely company. I don't think there were any problems at all on set, even though things can get fraught with so many people. It didn't. It was wonderful. Favourite memory? It's tricky because it was 2 years ago, but I think being trouser wrangler was one of them.
Trouser wrangler.
Trouser wrangler. It was when
Elaborate.
when Jack was having a particularly horrific moment on the floor, and he was very worried. He couldn't see, and he was very worried, I think, about his trousers coming down, which they were. But anyway, I volunteered to be trouser wrangler and keep an eye on the trousers and keep pulling them up, keep making sure he was comfortable in the nether regions, and I did it very well, if I may say so myself. Oh, this is a surprise one. Can you tell me your favourite memories about the filming?
Oh, well done.
You didn't see that one coming.
No. I don't know if this is my favourite memory, but it's the first one that came to mind. It's nothing that you would ever know, but I had a pair of shoes for the first few days of filming that were, I don't understand it, they had rubber soles. and they were just absolutely falling apart. I've never seen anything like it. But great chunks of the sole of the shoe were falling off. I would just walk along like a corridor and huge chunks of shoe.
I remember picking up some of that.
They were everywhere. And I
It was
kept saying
hilarious.
to James, our director, can you please get me another pair of shoes? And he was like, yeah, no, it'd be fine. I wasn't there for long, so in his mind it's like,
They'll do.
he'll never get to the end of it. And I did, and my feet were my feet my socks were touching the ground. I just had shoe lids. And then
You did.
and then I think it was my second sort of block of filming, and I came in and I had new shoes, and I was so thrilled. So that's probably,
Yeah, well,
perversely, probably my favourite memory from.
Well, you see, yes, that's the wonderful thing about high budget filming.
Yes, exactly. I needed a shoe wrangler.
You did need a shoe wrangler, but I'm not prepared to do that. No.
How did the crew contribute to making the filming experience enjoyable?
Yes, the crew were fantastic. So easy to work with. Mostly they were students, but you would never guess that. I'm particularly fond of Andre, the DOP, and Tom, who I think was assistant cameras or occasionally a DOP. I'm a bit confused on their roles because just on a short film that they were both on, that Alice, another member of the crew, again, a fantastic girl, she'd written a short film for her finals, and she asked me to be in it, and the boys were crewing on it, but they did the other way around. So Tom was DOP on that, and Andre was assisting, strangely. But they're both phenomenally talented, wonderful guys. They've got a great future ahead, I'm sure. But they were all, everybody, I mean, forgive me for not giving everybody a name check, but yeah, they were great. Really good fun and professional. Why is this a great horror film?
So I've got to say, and this kind of goes back to the crew thing, one thing that really impressed me, gore's really hard to do for various reasons. Not just the fact that you've got to, shoot it effectively, it's got to be sort of used appropriately and all that stuff. To actually do good makeup effects is incredibly hard. And this had got quite a few demanding makeup effect moments that even on set, you knew they were going to pop and they were going to work, and in the film they do. There's if you like a bit of gore in your horror, and any kind of horror can have gore, and this is a different kind of horror, but the gore is good and it's satisfying.
What makes you excited about the release?
It's nice always with anything like this to actually see it come to fruition first, and then there's so many stages obviously to film even getting made. So then to see it actually released, what's exciting is the same as what's always exciting, is that it's out in the world and then it's other people's. And I think when you've worked on it for so long, and from the actor's point of view, you've worked on it so long ago, it's just a sort of then interesting and exciting to know that other people are going to see it and have opinions on it. So I think that's it really. And people watching who don't know you are not affiliated, it is a low budget movie, so obviously it's, not everyone sort of knows it exists. Finding its audience is going to be the fun part of it, like all good genre movies. And horror is such a big, broad family that that's, I think, always sort of the most exciting thing for me. And just to get people to see it and see everyone's hard work.